Hello, good morning, everyone. It's good to be here again. A new week, a new day, a new morning. Good morning, all. If you can see my screen and you can hear my voice, kindly type in hi in the comment section so that we can, I'm sure we are all on the same page. Hey, Carrie, good morning. Thank you very much. Sarah Payne, good morning. Hey, Streamroller, good morning to you. Thank you very much. 359, good morning. 946, good morning to everyone in the house. And I want to take this as a confirmation that you can see my screen and you can hear me clearly. So let's kickstart the session. Okay, Samuel 732, good morning. D-Day, good morning to you. All right, okay. So let's kickstart the session, and what we want to be doing is to be welcoming you all to yet another beautiful session of Extra and Speed Live, hosted by my humble self, Sheriff Daramola. As usual, I will be taking you on a trading journey in the next 1 hour, where we shall be evaluating the financial market using various technical parameters to identify trading opportunities lining up for us this week and this New York session as well. Well, today is the first day of the week, and as usual, what we're going to be doing is to be looking at what the participants in the market are, how they are relating with key levels in the market this morning. Then we shall be using this to forecast what our expectations shall be. So one thing that is peculiar with our Monday morning is that we actually do not have specific entries, but if we finally do, I will be sharing it with you during the course of the session. But most importantly, we are not focused on specific entries on Monday, as we want to be monitoring and see how participants are relating with the key levels, to use this as a yardstick against the new week. So without further ado, let's dive into the chart and let's see what is happening. Well, I have a couple of pairs I will be sharing with you today, which appears to be evolving into a profitable setup for us this week, especially the major pairs. But before we do that, we go on with the commodity, the US oil, which is the pair we normally take first. So let's dive into the chart and let's see what's happening on the US oil. Well, on the US oil, remember during the course of last week's live session, I think on Friday, we were expecting a bearish momentum on the US oil, which has actually crept the market at the moment. But what we want to be doing is to see what is happening on the higher time frame, and let's use this to decipher how we want to be trading the US oil this week. So what we'll be doing here is to scale up a little into the higher time frame. Let's go into the daily time frame and let's see what is the holistic perspective here on the US oil. Now on the US oil, going to the daily time frame, it is very obvious that price action has been on a long-term bullish momentum, at least since the later part of last year. We were able to connect the series of higher lows to give us this resultant bullish trend line. As you can see how price has continued to respect this bullish trend line since the last quarter of last year, though we had a breakdown of this trend line here. But as soon as price climbed back into the above the trend line, we have continued to see higher lows from this point. But something interesting happened during the mid-month of June stroke July. We saw a breakout retest of structure that took price right below that bullish trend line to give us a possible bearish momentum from that point. Now that we have the scenario here, we can see how price has continued to find lower lows and lower highs. So what we did here is to scale down to the 4 hours time frame to see things a little bit clearer. On the 4 hours time frame, we were able to connect a series of lower highs since the early days of the month of June. We can see the first eye here. We saw this one, we have this one here too, here and here. So we were able to connect these points together to give us that resultant bearish trend line, and we've been using that to guide our action in the last couple of months. So now that we are right at this juncture on the market, what is going to be our plans? Well, since the beginning of the month, we have seen that price has continued to trend to the lower side. We saw the breakdown of this bullish trend line, and we saw a retest of that bullish trend line as well, with a reversal pattern right under that bearish trend line that pushed price to the downside here. So right now, price is back at a very strong demand zone. If you look left, you can see how this level has held price supported in the past. We can see price was held supported here in the month of February, and right now price is right back within that level. So what do we want to be doing from this point going forward? One thing I'll be saying here is that we need to be very, very careful, as we are right on a very strong demand zone. And one thing we want to be doing is to be patient enough to look at how price action is going to be relating with this level during this week. So there are two possibilities we will be looking forward to. Is we could either have a significant breakdown of that demand zone, which will be giving us a signal. And remember, we don't get too excited at the sight of a signal, as we want to wait for price action to give us a confirmation in the form of a retest of structure, where we'll be looking for reversal patterns on lower time frame to join the decline. So that is one scenario we want to be looking forward to. And then the other scenario we could be looking forward to here is a possible reversal pattern from this point. It could be a double bottom structure, where we'll be looking for entries on lower time frame at a confirmation of a structure that supports a trend continuation to the upside. So these are two setups we want to be looking forward to this week. And if we scale further down to the 1 hour time frame, what do we have here? So we have this demand zone still holding price action at this point. And so what I'll be advising here is that we remain patient to see how price action is going to be relating with this level at this point. So if you had missed this move from the point to this point, then definitely we just want to be patient enough to see what will happen in the next couple of hours from this point in the market. So what I'll be doing is, I'll be saying here is be patient. Let's see what happens. Are we going to be having a reversal pattern from this point? That is, probably it could be a double bottom structure. It could be an inverse head and shoulder pattern. It could even be a falling wedge. Whatever reversal pattern that comes in here, we could be taking advantage of a bullish momentum from this point. That is one scenario. And the other scenario is that we wait for price to do a significant breakdown of that demand zone, after which a retest of structure should give us further confirmation to join the decline. So this is my view on the US oil for today. So let's see how price action is going to play out in the next couple of hours. And if you have any questions whatsoever on this one, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section, so that we can look at it together one more time. So if there is something you need further clarification on the US oil, please drop a word or two in the comment section. I'll be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to look at what is happening in the comment section. And if you also have any pair you want us to look at for today, feel free to drop it in the comment section. I will try as much as possible to include this in my schedule for today. So what's happening in the comment section? Oh, Sarah Pien is saying it's nice this morning. All right, glad to hear that. 30240. Okay, hello, good morning. 946 wants us to do US oil, which we have actually started with. Then 488, hello, okay. Hello. Okay, bonjour. Okay, Streamroller is saying AUDUSD. All right, we would include that in our plans for today. AUDUSD has been trending on the lower side. I have a trade running on that pair, but definitely we will be sharing. I will be sharing my perspective on the AUDUSD for today. Okay, so let's see any other pair. Okay. All right, in the absence of none, let's let's move on to the next pair. And before I do that, I need to emphasize where our take profit target is going to be on this one. So on the US oil, if this turn out to be a reversal pattern on lower time frame, that is, if we see, for example, for the case of for the sake of explanation here, let me say we find a double bottom structure here on lower time frame. Then if we take advantage of that bullish momentum, we want to be looking at our take profit target right around that bearish trend line, which also shares a confluence with the key level at the $93 mark. So if we are going to be taking advantage of a bullish momentum from this point, we should be aiming at around this point, which will be dovetailing to at least a minimum of 450 pips to catch here. However, if we have a final breakdown of that demand zone, where will our take profit target be? That is, if we have an outright breakout of structure, we want to look forward to price coming back to do a retest of the structure to take advantage of that bearish move. Where will our take profit target be? Well, what I'll be saying at this point, it might look a little bit technical, but I'll try as much as possible to explain this. So right now we have this impulse leg here, which we don't know when it's going to end. So if we are having a breakdown of this level, it depends on wherever that impulsive move ends. Once we see the end of the impulse leg, well, you might be asking, how do we know this impulse leg has ended? Well, the only way to know if an impulse leg has ended is if we see a reversal pattern right at the head of the leg, then we know the impulse leg has ended. So if we have identified that the impulse leg has ended here, what we want to be doing is to bring out our Fibonacci extension tool and run it through that impulse leg. And if we run it through that impulse leg, we should take a aim at the area between the 127.2 and the 1414 area as our take profit target for any selling momentum here on the US oil. So this is what we are going to be looking forward to. So if we have a breakdown of this level, our take profit target will be at the Fibonacci extension of the impulse leg, and we aim between the 127.2 and the 1414 area for our take profit target. So that's that for the US oil. So let's move on to the US tech. On the US tech, we begin to see momentum that looks more bearish here on the US tech. But before we do that, let's scale up to the higher time frame so that we can take an holistic perspective of what is actually going on the US tech. Now, if we look at the structure we have here on the daily time frame, it is very obvious that price action has been on a downtrend momentum drive, and we were able to connect the series of lower highs to give us that resulting bearish trend line we were able to identify with the black dotted line on your screen. Now, what has been happening in the last 1 month? In the last 1 month, we have been seeing price finding higher highs and higher lows, and this move led to a breakout retest or a breakout of the bearish trend line we were able to identify here. So now the next question we are going to be asking is this: are we going to be having a trend continuation to the upside, since we've already witnessed a breakout of the bearish trend line that we have here? Well, if we are going to be having a bullish momentum here on the US tech, that is, since we already have a breakout of that structure, we want to be looking for further confirmation in the form of a retest of that structure to give us that confirmation we are looking for to join the rally to the upside. So now if we zoom into the current structure we have here, let's zoom in. Let's zoom in here. So the first thing we noticed here is the breakout of the bearish trend line we were able to identify here on the daily time frame. So we have a breakout, that's fine. Now that we have a breakout of that bearish trend line, like I said, I want to see price do a retest of the structure with confirmation in the form of a reversal pattern on lower time frame to join the rally to the upside. So that means that there is a likelihood that we should be expecting a bearish momentum that will push price to the downside from here. But we can't jump into that conclusion now, as we will need to scale down to a lower time frame to see what is actually happening. So scale down to the 4 hours time frame, and on the 4 hours time frame we were able to identify a bullish trend line. Hold on a second, let me delete this and let me show you that bullish trend line I was talking about. You can see since mid-July, price has been respecting this trend line. We saw a higher high, higher low, higher high, a higher low again, and right now we saw a sharp rejection of the $13,500 level here. Price came back into this level one more time, and we are not sure if this move is going to continue to the upside, or we are going to be having price come back to respect that bullish trend line one more time. So we are trying to break things down as we move down the time frame to look for possible entries that we could take advantage of this week. So that's that on the 4 hours time frame. Then if we scale down to the 1 hour time frame here, what do we observe? Well, if we look at the structure we have here, since on the 11th of August, we can see that we have this impulsive move. Price rejected the 13,500 level, price came back down, then price is right back at the 13,500 level again. And since the beginning of the week, we've been seeing price go through a consolidation phase right between the 13,550 level and the 13,500 area before we saw the breakdown of that level, giving us a clue into a possible bearish momentum here on the US tech. So what I want to be doing here is this. Let's go to the 15 minutes time frame so that we can see things more clearly. So on the 15 minutes time frame, we already have a channel, and let me show you what the channel looks like. We have this move. Price was oscillating right within this area. We can see that since the beginning of the week, price has been oscillating right below the 13,550 level until we saw the breakdown of the 13,500 level here. We saw a rejection of this level, price came back down again, price is right back at the 13,500 level. So I'm of the opinion that we might be having a move to the downside from this point. So how do we take advantage of that move when it finally happens? So the first thing we want to be doing is to identify parameters that will make our job easier during the New York session. And what does that mean? The first thing we want to be doing is to identify a key level that will be guiding our action. So if we have a key level, we have a key level at 13,500 level. And the reason why I'll be placing a key level at the 13,500 level is because of what we see in the past. If we look left, we can see this level was held price supported before we saw the breakdown of that structure, and then price came back to do multiple rejection of that level. So what I want to be doing at this point is to connect this level together. So we bring out our line chart and let's identify that level, and what this level will be doing is that it's going to be our guide for the new week. So we're going to be using this level as our guide for the week. So let's identify this key level. So we give it a gold color As usual, our key level is always gold, so we label it 13th key level. So we have a key level sitting right at $13,500, which is more or less a very strong psychological level considering the round figure of this price. So we have a key level here. So what, like I was saying, the key level makes our job easier this week. The reason why I've said that is this: if we continue to see price oscillating right below the key level, we are comfortable in our selling position. And if we see price break above this key level one more time, then we will likely going to be looking forward to a bullish momentum in the form of a breakout. We wait for a retest to give us further confirmation to join the rally to the upside. And if we are going to be selling right now, I think it's the most appropriate to do a sell at this point as long as price action is right below the key level at $13,500. Now, in addition to the parameter that we have identified in the form of the key level as 13,500, I also want to identify a bearish trend line by connecting the lower highs at this point. So if we do that, this is what we have here. So the second parameter that we're going to be using to guide our action this week is this bearish trend line. So now that we have this bearish trend line, let's go back to our candle chart and then we do some adjustments. So we have that. So we expect price to continue to rally below the key level and the resistance point. So this is what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to a downtrend scenario here. So as long as price is below this level, I want to be taking advantage of the selling momentum. However, if we see a breakout of that structure, remember, we are not getting too excited as we want to wait for further confirmation in the form of a retest of the bearish trend line or probably the key level here with reversal patterns on lower time frame to join the rally to the upside. So these are the two scenarios I'm looking forward to on the US tech. Now that we have a possible entry formation, where is our take profit target going to be? So for the selling momentum right now, if we are going to be doing a sell on this one, our take profit target, if we look left, we can see that we have a structure. We have a structure around the $13,300 mark. We can see this area has been a demand zone in the past. We can see this area also has been a demand niche for participants in this market. So what we want to be doing is to identify that area as our next take profit target point. So if we have an entry right below the key level here, our take profit target shouldn't be more than this area, at least for the meantime, with the stop loss right above the previous structure. So we will be aiming at least a minimum of 200 pips to catch here if price move in our direction. So noting this, that we have a take profit target around this area, it is pertinent that I make mention of this. As soon as price gets into this area, I want to show you what I'm talking about here. As soon as price gets into somewhere around here, that is between this point and this point, we want to be locking our profit or moving our stop loss to break even. And the reason why that is, remember, we are on a long-term bullish momentum here. We don't want to get caught up in unnecessary pullbacks at this point. So if price continues to the downside, and as soon as price touches somewhere around here, we want to lock in our profit or move your stop loss to break even so that we don't get our account exposed to unnecessary pullbacks at this point. And if at the eventually we have a breakdown, retest of the structure, then we could probably add more position to our existing trade to join the trade into the take profit target zone around this point. So this is what I'm looking forward to for any selling momentum here on the US tech. However, for the bullish momentum, where will our take profit target be? Well, I want to be using this impulse leg as a guide to identifying the take profit target for the US tech. And how will I do that? After identifying this impulsive move, we want to extend it into the future. And if we extend into the future, we use our Fibonacci extension tool, run it through that leg with the aim at between the 127.2 and the 1414 area as our next bus stop for take profit. So if we should be having it somewhere around here. So we have a TP target right around this point as for the any buying momentum here on the US tech. So we should be dovetailing to about 150, 140, 150 pips to catch here. So but based on the structure we see here on the 15-minute time frame, it is advisable that we should be taking the selling momentum right now, and let's see how price action is going to relate with this level in the next couple of hours. So that is my scenario here on the US tech. If you have any question regarding this this analysis, feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section. I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to read through the chat to see if there are any questions in this regard. So let's see what's happening. Okay. Good morning, Pep80. How are you doing this morning? All right. All right. Hi, Paisan. Okay. So in the absence of no question, let's assume we all understand what I've just explained so far. So let's move on to the next pair. So the next pair, let's take the AUD USD. AUD USD. Let's take the AUD USD. Sincerely, if you had missed this move on the AUD USD, then I think I would be advising that we remain very patient. So how did we get to this point? Scaling up to the higher time frame, that's on the daily time frame, what do we have here? On the daily time frame, we have a downtrend momentum here. Since the beginning of the year, price has been respecting that bearish trend line, but something interesting happened during the later part of July where we saw price break out of that structure. So we had a breakout retest of the structure the later part of July, stroke the early days of this month. So we saw this breakout of structure. We saw price do multiple rejection. We saw price do multiple rejection of the bearish trend line to push price to the upside. So with this scenario, we can see here on the daily time frame, definitely the next thing that comes to your mind is that we are going bullish on the AUD USD. But while we are going bullish, there are phases where we will be experiencing or witnessing retracement phases. And what we're seeing in the early hours of today is likely going to be the retracement phase of the impulsive move we just identified here on the daily time frame. And if we look at what happened during the course of last week's trading session, we saw how the Aussie increased in value. We can see this impulsive move, price moved from around 0.6900 into the 0.71300 area, and since price got to that level, we started witnessing multiple rejection of that level. I will show you that in a moment. Let's scale down to a much lower time frame so that we can see what I'm talking about at that point. So now this is what we see here. We can see that since price tested the 0.71350 area, we saw multiple rejections of that level, giving us a clue into the strength of the sellers at this point in the market. And one thing I was actually waiting for was to see a breakdown of this key level at 0.70950. So I was looking for the breakdown of this level, and it actually happened during the early hours of today. We saw the breakdown of that point, and one thing for sure that I'll be saying here that will be a succor for those people who actually missed this move is that we might be waiting for a retest of structure to join the trend continuation to the downside. So if you had missed this move, let's see if we are going to be seeing price do a retracement back into the structure. Then we will be looking to take advantage of the downtrend at the confirmation of on lower time frame. So now that we have the setup on higher time frame, we have identified this level. We've identified that we should be expecting a bearish momentum here. How far is this bearish momentum going to go? There are two things we want to be looking forward to here. The first scenario is the bearish momentum is likely going to come down into either the bearish trend line we were able to identify on the higher time frame, after which we'll be looking for a trend continuation to the upside, or probably if we zoom in and see what has been happening since the beginning of the week, we can see that we've been having higher lows. We can see we have hold on a second, let me show you. We have this low, we have this low. So let's connect this the series of higher lows together so that we can have a uniform trend line. So if we do this, we have something like this. So is price going to respect this trend line? That is one question we are not sure of. So right now price is on that level. Price is on that bullish trend line. You can see how significant this level is right now. So one thing we want to be looking forward to is this. If we see a breakdown of this level, then a retest of structure should give us further confirmation to join the decline to the downside. And the other scenario is this, that price could respect this bullish trend line one more time with the intention of doing a retest of the key level, which is our neckline here, after which we look out for reversal pattern on lower time frame to join the decline to the downside. So on the AUDUSD, I'm still expecting a bearish momentum, at least on a short-term perspective, though on a long-term perspective we're on a bullish momentum. But this is more or less like a retracement phase, which would take out all the selling positions here at this point, with the intention of pushing price to the upside from that area. So what we're going to be doing here during the New York session today is to be patient to see how price action will relate with this level. Let's see how price action is going to relate with this level. I actually took advantage of this move from this point, and if price rejects this level, then we look forward to price coming back into the key level at 0.70950 area. Remember, if price gets to this point, we want to look for confirmations in the form of a reversal pattern on lower time frame. It could be your double top, it could be your head and shoulder pattern, it could be your rising wedge, whatever it is on our lower time frame. We want to look for those kind of structures to take advantage of a trend continuation to the downside. And if a breakdown of this bullish trend line happens, a retest of structure should give us further confirmation to add more position to our existing trade. So on the AUDUSD for this week, I'm expecting a bearish momentum. So let's see how price action plays out from this point in the market, and I will be giving you an update in this regard tomorrow. So if there are any question regarding the AUDUSD pair we just explained so far, please feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section. So Someone wants us to do US 30. Okay, let's see if that's going to be possible. I'll be putting that down now, and let's see if we will be able to attend to that. Hey, Streamroller is saying that he's on a sell since. Oh, that's great for you to have taken that move. That's kudos to you for identifying that opportunity there. So if you are taking that advantage from that point, well, what I'll be saying at this point in time is for you to move your stop loss to lock in some profit. So for me personally, I actually took the trade from the breakdown of this neckline here, which is about 75 pips, 70 pips in profit at this point. So what I'll be saying, if you are taking it from this point, then that's good. You want to be locking some profit. So what you'll be doing, look at a previous structure. So we have a previous structure at this point. So what you'll be doing here is to move your stop loss right above this level. So let's say our price is going to relate with this level. So move your stop loss right above that level, and if price breaks back into the structure, then this is a good confirmation that the reversal pattern here is valid. So this is our neckline. If price comes back here with a reversal pattern on lower time frame, we want to join the decline. And in fact, on this pair we have multiple entries, potential multiple entries to take advantage of. So if we have a breakdown of the bullish trend line here, a retest of the bullish trend line will give us opportunity to add more trade to the to our existing position here. So I will be advising that you're moving your stop loss to somewhere convenient so that you lock in some profit at this point, and let's see what happens from this area. So that's what I will be saying on the AUD USD. Aurea, welcome. Streamroller. Babies 1516, how are you? Good morning. 401 says I'm in on the sell. Which pair are you talking about? 401. Which pair are you talking about? 401. Hey, hi Max, good morning. How are you today? Trust you had a wonderful weekend. 296, hi. Okay, so in the absence of no more questions, let's move on to the next pair. So what's the next pair we're going to be looking at? The next pair we want to be looking at is let's look at the USD JPY. The USD JPY is one pair that remember, this is one of our top trade for last week. We were able to take this move. It was over 250 pips move to the downside from this point, and right now we have a structure that we need to look at. So well, before I do that, let's scale up to higher time frame. Let's have a long-term view of what's actually going on the USDJPY. So from the daily time frame, the obvious perspective is that this pair has been on a strong bullish momentum since the beginning of the year, and we were able to identify this bullish trend line by connecting the series of higher lows at this point. But something very interesting happened during the later part of the month of July, as we saw a significant breakdown of that bullish trend line to give us a clue into a change in market structure. So since we saw that breakdown of that level, we saw that price broke down that level and tested the 130.150 area, after which we saw price come back again to this level. Now, when we scale down to the 4 hours time frame, one thing we observed is that we were able to connect the series of higher lows at this point to find this bearish trend line. Remember this bearish trend line last week? If you are with me last week, you'll remember that we identified this bearish trend line to give us a yardstick for the next days after. So it was this bearish trainer that we used, and we were expecting that price will do a reversal pattern within this area, which actually happened. We identified this structure. So we saw the structure here, we saw multiple rejection of this level, and we were able to take advantage of this move to the downside. And right now, what we observed here is that price rejected the 132 level. We can see we saw multiple rejection of this level, giving us a clue into a possible bullish momentum. Yes, possible bullish momentum at this point. So with this scenario here, I was able to connect the higher lows here to have this bullish momentum. So for this week now, we have two scenarios we want to be looking for. The first one is a bullish momentum. That is, if a bullish momentum is going to be coming in here, that is, if this bullish trend line is going to push for a bullish momentum here, I want to be waiting for price to break out of that bearish trend line. Remember, we are looking for a long-term perspective here. So I want to see price break out of that bearish trend line. I want to see an outright breakout of that bearish trend line, taking out all the selling position at this point, after which a retest of this level should give me further confirmation to join the rally to the upside. So that's one scenario. Then the other scenario I'm looking forward to is that using this impulsive move that happened last week has a yardstick to taking advantage to finding a position for us this week. So if we have this impulse leg, bringing out our Fibonacci retracement tool, sorry, it started from here, and running it through the impulse leg and looking at our golden zone area, which is between the 50 and the 78.6% area. And that is why I have this rectangle here, having the selling window inscribed within it as an area I'm looking for selling momentum. So if we have this area as the impulse leg here, so if price comes back into our golden zone area, which also shares a confluence with the bearish trend line, the red line on your screen, and our neckline, which is the key level at 134.650, I want to be looking for a reversal pattern from this point to join a decline. So I want to be looking for a reversal pattern here to join a further decline on the USD JPY. And why do we have a neckline here? If we look at the structure we had here last week, we can see we have a reversal pattern here in the form of a double top structure. We saw the first touch, we saw the second touch, and then we saw the breakdown of the neckline. So this is like a double top structure here. We saw this is the neckline here, and if we look at the neckline, we can see this area has been a major determinant of price action for sellers in this market. We see how sellers use this level to sell the USDJPY, and it's likely that price is still going to come back into this bearish trend line where I'm expecting another selling momentum. And if we look at the breakdown of this neckline, remember I showed you this is the breakdown of this neckline. So we expect price to come back into this neckline to do a reversal pattern here to join the decline to the downside. So this is what I'm looking forward to from a technical perspective. So for the USDJPY, I'm not going to be buying the USDJPY unless I see an outright breakout of this bearish trend line in the future before I'll be thinking of any bullish momentum here. So I've explained to you what is happening from a technical perspective. Now let's look at what is actually happening since the beginning of this week. So if we look at the structure here, since the beginning of the week, price has been oscillating right between the 133.600 level and the 133.390. You see our price has been oscillating right within this area before we saw the breakdown of that channel. Then price came back to do a retest here, came down, did a retest here, and came down one more time. So at this point, I'm beginning to feel concerned that is it likely that we'll be having a bearish momentum from this point. That is, the bearish momentum might not go as far as this area, the selling niche that we identified here. And if you remember, we already have this 50% retracement level here at this point. So if that is going to be the case, then we need to be getting ready for a bearish move at this point. Price has not broken above this level since the beginning of the week. We can see this is the highest point price got to during the early hours of this week. And then the second time price came as far as coming close to that level was this area, making a lower high. Now, if that is going to be the case, let's bring out our line chart and connect the series of lower highs here. And if we do that, what do we have? We have something like this. So now, with this setup here, that is one. Then I also have another one here. So with this setup here right now, what am I going to be looking forward to? So I have a parameter here. We have two parameters. We have this temporary bullish trend line. We have this temporary bearish trend line. And I have a key level. I have a temporary level here at 133.350. If we look left, you can see that area has been a niche for sellers in the past. We can see how sellers push price from this level. You see sellers push price from this level. You see them push price from that level. So I want to be looking forward to this level too. This so we already have the first breakdown of the 133.350 area. Price has come back into this level, so I want to be taking advantage of any selling momentum right below the 133.350 level, going into at least this bullish trend line, at least for the meantime. And if we have a further breakdown of that bullish trend line, then a retest of structure, or probably price comes back to retest this bearish trend line, give us further confirmation to add more more position to our existing trade. So this is what I'm looking forward to for this week. It appears price doesn't want to break above the 133.600, so that's why I'm shifting my expectation to right below the 133.350. So on a long-term perspective, our take profit target is right at the 131 area, and the reason why that is this. I took into consideration this impulse leg here. I projected it into the future using my Fibonacci extension tool, and if we do that very well with the aim at between the 127.2 and the 1414 area, we had something like this. So this is why I have my take profit target at 131, so, though it's supposed to be out around the 130.700 area, but I still think 131 is still okay, which is around 230 pips to catch here if price moves as expected. So this is what I'm looking forward to on the USDJPY. So if price continue to oscillate right below the 133.350, I want to feel comfortable with any selling momentum here on the USDJPY. However, if we have a breakout of that level, that is price breaks out of that level in the future, then a retest of structure could push price to the upside. Remember, I'm not selling, I'm not buying. I want to see how price is going to relate with the major key level, which is the neckline of the reversal pattern we identified on the higher time frame. And remember, I'm only buying when I see an outright breakout of the bearish trend line. Then a retest will give me further confirmation to join a bullish momentum here on the USDJPY. If you have any question, please feel free to drop a word or two in the comment section on the USDJPY. So let's see if we are on the same page. Any question whatsoever, drop it in the comment section. I will be willing to be of help. So let's move on. The last pair we will be taking will be, we've already taken AUD USD, USD JPY. Then Euro USD is one pair I also took advantage of today. So let's see. Should we take Euro USD or we take XAUUSD? You're welcome, Streamroller. Should we take Euro USD or XAUUSD? Which one? Which one? Okay. So let's take XAUUSD. On the XAUUSD, you will remember that since last week we've been expecting that bearish momentum on the XAUUSD. We took this bullish move last week. We took about 3,000 pips move on the XAUUSD last week, and right now, first of all, before I go into what is happening right now, let's have a larger perspective. Let's have a look of what's happening on the higher time frame. So on the higher time frame, price has been on a bullish momentum. That's on the daily time frame. We have this bullish trend that has been holding price action supported for quite a while, and during the later part of the month of June, we saw the significant breakdown of that bullish trend line, giving us a clue into a bearish perspective. So price broke down that bullish trend line, and then we saw a scenario where price continued to climb back up, hereby forming a ascending channel on the 4 hours time frame. So I'll be showing you that in a moment. So on the 4 hours time frame, this is what we have here. We have this ascending channel here on the 4 hours time frame. Price continued to respect that added ascending channel, but as soon as price got into the $1,800 area, we begin to see sharp multiple rejections of this level, giving us a clue into the strength of the sellers at this point in the market. So with this scenario here, I begin to doubt any bullish momentum on the XAUUSD. And since I've been seeing this sharp rejection, we saw this first sharp one, we saw this rejection here, we saw this rejection here. And if you look at the structure here, you can see it's close to the support level of the ascending channel. So when price is getting too close, as price is finding it difficult to move out of that support level, we should understand that we're beginning to see bearish momentum coming in. And because of that, the next thing I did was to connect this higher lows here. So we had this bearish trend line. After connecting the higher lows, sorry, the lower highs here, we had this bearish trend line, and we want to be using that as our first guide going into the new week. So this is the first parameter we are going to be looking forward to this week. Then the next thing we saw here was price broke down, a significant breakdown of the ascending channel. In fact, we saw 3 engulfing candles taking price action out of the ascending channel to give us a signal that we are looking for. So one thing about this is that we don't want to get too excited. This is more or less a signal that a bearish momentum is unfolding. So what we want to be doing is to be patient enough to wait for a retest of structure. So now, where is the retest going to happen? Now that is where the question is. So for the week now, I have 2 key levels here. I have a key level at $1,785, and if you look left, this level has been a demand niche in the past, which has finally been broken. Now we see this level has been a demand niche. You see, this has been a demand niche in the past. It has finally been broken. We saw a breakdown of that $1,785 level. We saw a breakdown of the ascending channel. I also have a key level at $1,795 level. You can see how this level has held sellers in the past. We can see. So we have a breakdown of that level as well, giving us a further giving us a further support of the bearish potential we are looking forward to here. So now, how do we take advantage? We already have the signal. The signal has come to us in the form of the breakdown of all the structures. How do we take advantage? So one thing we want to be doing here is to wait for confirmation, and the confirmation could either come in form of a retest of the $1,785 level, which also shares a confluence with the bearish trend line, or price will go as far as retesting the key level at $1,795 level, or it could go as far as retesting the ascending channel here. So we need to be very, very patient here to look out for that bearish momentum on the XAUUSD. So let's scale down to the 1 hour time frame and let's see which possible area where price could do a retest of. So right now we are waiting for, hold on, a retest of either this one or this one or this one. So now, how do we know which of these retests will be the area where sellers is going to grip the market? That is one question we need to ask ourselves right now. So what I will be saying is this: we are going to be looking at how price is going to be relating with these levels. Hold on a second, let me show you. We are going to be waiting to see how price will be relating with this level. This is the first level. Let's see how price is going to relate with this level. If we have a breakout of that level, we will wait for price to relate with this level. If we have a breakout of that level, we'll wait for price to relate with this level. Now, what are we going to be looking for when price gets to this level? What we are going to be looking forward to is reversal patterns from this level. It could be a double top structure, an impact, a head and shoulder pattern, whatever it is. We'll be looking for a reversal pattern from either of this level. So that's what we want to be looking forward to for this week. And if that happens, we want to take advantage of a selling momentum from any of these points. So now that is what I will be saying here on the XAUUSD. So we need to be very, very patient here. Let's see how price is going to relate with this level. We already have a selling momentum unfolding before our high, so we don't want to be risking taking advantage of any bullish momentum here. We want to be waiting for selling momentum, so we wait for price action to come back into either of these levels to take advantage of that move. So this is what I'll be looking forward to on the XAUUSD, and I think it's already 12 on the dot here. So let's just go through the pairs we deliberated on today and we call it a day. So the first pair we deliberated on today was the USOil, where I told you that we need to be patient. So the last hour candle has closed, then we have the new candle here, so we are still around this level. So patience is required here on the USOil. We want to see how price action is going to relate with this demand zone. So like I told you earlier, we are looking forward to probably a reversal pattern here. It could be a double bottom structure on lower time frame with a take profit target at around the $93 area, or we see price break out of this, break down this demand zone with a retest of structure, giving us further confirmation to join the decline. So that's that on the US oil. On the US oil, if you had missed this move from this point down to this area, then it's time to be patient, to wait to see how price is going to relate with this level. So that's that on the US oil. Then we moved on to the US tech, where I told you that I'm expecting a bearish momentum as long as price falls below the 13,500 level. But right now it seems price has broken out of that bearish trend line we identified on the lower time frame here, which has happened. So since we already have a breakout of this level, then what we want to be looking forward to is a bullish momentum here on the US tech. So this is a demand zone here. Let's label this level. We have a demand zone here. Okay, so we have a demand zone here. So this is going to be our neckline now going forward. 13,500 level will be our neckline going forward. So right now we already witnessed a breakout of the neckline, which also shares a confluence with the bearish trend line we identified on the lower time frame. So what we want to be looking forward to is a confirmation of this bullish momentum, and that confirmation will come in form of a retest of the key level or this bearish trend line, where we look out for patterns on lower time frame to join the rally to the upside. And remember, where's our take profit target here? We have it right between the $13,620 level and the $13,670 level, which will dovetail to about 130, 150 pips thereabout on the US tech. So this is what we are looking forward to on the US tech. Then we went on to talk about the AUD USD, where high and streamroller had a quite a thought process here, and he has already taken advantage of that move right from the top, and I took my right from this point. And the first thing I said for those who are taking advantage of that move is to move their stop loss right above the 0.70700 area to just lock in some profits, or to hold their position against any sudden pull up at this point. So we have a neckline here. So for those who have missed this move, one thing I said is that let's be patient to wait to see how price will relate with this bullish trend line. If a rejection of this bullish trend line happens, then we want to see price come back to do a retest of this neckline, where we want to be entering this trade at the site of a reversal pattern. And for those who are already in this trade, you could add more position at this point. Then if we finally see a breakdown of this bullish trend line, a retest of this level should give us further confirmation to add more position to our existing trade on the AUD USD. Now we moved on to the USDJPY, where I was able to share a scenario with you. So after we took advantage of this bearish momentum last week, I had to explain to you on the higher time frame how we were able to get this selling window here after identifying the golden zone area, that is between the 50 and the 70.6% retracement of this impulsive move. So I was expecting price to come into either this area or this key level here, or this bearish trend line, where I'm looking for a reversal pattern to join the decline to the downside. But one interesting thing I saw that was happening since the beginning of the week is that price has been finding it very difficult to break above the 133.600 level. Then the second time it made an attempt was this point, and which is lower than the previous high, giving me a clue that sellers are actually coming in on this market. So what did I do here? We identified a key level, a level at 133.350 level, and the reason why that is, if we look left, this level has been a selling niche for participants in this market. Anytime price comes here, we've been saying selling potential from this level. So what I'm expecting here is that price is likely going to break this level going into the New York session. So with this formation here, I was able to connect the series of higher lows, this lower highs rather, to find this bearish trend line. So this bearish trend line should be our guide going into the new week. So price should continue to respect this bearish trend line. If price continues to oscillate right below this trend line, I'm comfortable in my selling position on the USD JPY. And I also told you that I'm not going to be thinking of buying the USD JPY if price does not break out of the bearish trend line on the higher time frame. So that is that. Then on the XAUUSD, we finished the day with the XAUUSD, where I was able to identify three zones where we should be looking forward for selling opportunities. The first one is the $1,785 level. The second one is the $1,795 level, and the third one is the retest of the bullish trend line here. So we are going to be looking for reversal patterns from either of this level to join a decline to the downside. If it happens here, we join the decline, and if it happens here, we join the decline to the downside. And if it happens at a retest of this level too, we join the decline to the downside. So that is that for today. I want to thank you guys for being around with me here. I want to thank you guys for being around with me. It has been a wonderful moment with you guys. So let's see how price action is going to play out on this pairs. My advice is that let us be on standby so that we can catch the move when it finally happens. And also, do not get too excited at the sight of a signal. When a signal comes in form of a bearish an engulfing candle, please don't get too excited. Let's wait for our confirmation in the form of a retest of structure. Then we'll go down to a lower time frame to look out for patterns to support the trend continuation in the direction we are looking for. So on this note, I want to wish you best of luck during the New York session and open to see you same time tomorrow, 10 a.m. UTC, 11 a.m. West African time, same place, Extreme Speed Live. And do have a wonderful day. Bye bye.